Issue that will affect us now. The much-touted demerit system for South African drivers is set to become a reality soon. The Administrative Adjudication Traffic Offences Bill, or ATO, has been signed into law. It introduces penalties for traffic violations. Drivers who collect more than 12 demerits will have their driver's licences suspended. More than 3 suspensions will lead to their licence being cancelled. Leighton Beard is a spokesperson for the Automobile Association of South Africa. It's in our Pretoria studios this evening. Evening, Leighton. You say, you and others like Outer, don't believe that this is going to do much for safety on the roads. Why is that?
Yeah, good evening, Yveka. No, absolutely it won't. I think we're very outspoken on the fact that we are of the belief that this is nothing more than a revenue-generating bill. It's a scheme that's intended to make money, and it's certainly not intended on the reading of the bill as it stands at the moment to curb the carnage on our roads. It's not going to deal with offenders in the right way. It's going to tinker with the way that offenders are punished instead of taking those offenders off the road, which I think should be the aim of a bill of this nature. So in its current form, we are of the opinion that it is certainly flawed. And there is a lot that still needs to happen for us to believe that this is going to actually have a positive impact on the road deaths in our country.
Leighton, what are the flaws and loopholes, if you can give us some examples contained in this bill, that,
Sure.
that will make it ineffective?
Well, I think if we highlight 2 issues, Yveka, the first is that when you look at certain of the demerits that have been noted on the bill, you're looking at giving a very low rand value fine and a low value demerit point for people who aren't wearing seatbelts. Whereas, people who are committing very minor offences, in our opinion, are given higher rand value fines and are given higher value demerit points. And that, for us, indicates that this bill is not intended to deal with the carnage on the roads, to deal with the more than 13,500 deaths we have every year on our roads, but it's intended to collect money. When you look at some of the places where this was piloted, and Tshwane is a good example, in 2014 we had a certain amount of fatal road crashes on our road. I think it was 2,136, and the ATO system was implemented, albeit in a very limited way, in the province in Pretoria. And in 2017 we had 2,400 fatal crashes. So the implementation in a very limited way in a place like Pretoria had absolutely no impact on that number. In fact, the fatal crashes number increased. So when you look at what the impact of ATO is going to be, it's certainly not to deal with the carnage on our roads. And in our opinion, and I want to stress this, we believe this is nothing more than just a revenue collection mechanism.
And further criticism extends to that it would make it difficult for anyone to prove their innocence, Leighton. How so?
Yeah, and I think this also touches on the constitutionality of the bill, Yveka. When you look at the body that you have to apply to have a hearing on a demerit that has been given to you, that body is the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. It's the very body who is issuing the fines. So now they have become the judge and the jury, and they will decide whether there is any merit in your application to have whatever fine you've been given reviewed and perhaps even set aside if you have a case. But it's the same body that is issuing these fines. And in our opinion, that obviously is extremely unconstitutional, and it brings into question, how is this going to work? We are led to believe that some clarity will be given on the exact details of this bill, hopefully by the Minister of Transport in the next couple of days, and we will obviously eagerly await to see what those details are. For instance, when is it going to be implemented? Where is it going to be implemented? All the nuts and bolts that one wants to know about the implementation of this bill. But I think as it stands at the moment, we certainly are critical of it.
Now, just to clarify for us, Leighton, will drivers lose their licenses permanently, or will they have to start from scratch, take those tests again, and have that big exam done all over again?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a question that we would want to find out from the Department of Transport as well. Our understanding of the reading of the bill is exactly that. But again, I think it may be something that needs to be clarified by the Department of Transport of exactly how this is going to be implemented and what happens if, for instance, you have demerit points against you, which may lead to the cancellation of your driving license.
Now, Outer says it's going to legally challenge this, Leighton. Will the AA be joining any legal action going forward?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we will review their legal challenge. We've had a look at the bill. I think we're waiting for some clarity on exactly when this is going to be implemented. At this stage, we certainly are keeping our options open. We haven't made a decision either way. I think we want to just get some more information, and we'll make, obviously, a decision in due course on that, Rebecca.
Okay, thanks very much for that. Leighton Beard from the Automobile Association of South Africa.